Hi, everybody. My name's Jason.
I'm Caden.
I'm Jaden.
I'm Jan.
And we are the Yahoo and the Torah channel, and we thank you guys very, very much for hanging out with us and for listening. Our family's your family's ours. And we really, really appreciate you guys. We're the family who what, Cade?
Believes the Torah is for all generation, that we should be following it.
And who is our Messiah, Jade?
He is Yehoshua. He is the Son of the Most High. People know him as Jesus. They say he got rid of the law, but he kept the law, he taught the law, and he died so that we could have salvation from breaking the law.
Yeah, and Eli is our Messiah and the Creator. Are they the same entity?
No, there are two separate people. Yehoshua is the Son, and Yahuwah is the Father.
Okay. All right, gentlemen. Are you guys ready to rock and roll?
Yep.
Okay. We are into chapter 20 on this, and chapter 20 is long, and so we're gonna split this one into 3 sections here, and so we will begin. And that's our dogs that are doing what they do. My apologies. We have 10 furry alligators, commonly known as pit bulls, and so here we are. Okay, 1. Yahushua was brought privately before Ananias, son of Seth, who, after questioning Yahushua, sent him to the Supreme Council of the Yahudim, which was assembled. He also sent a message saying, "This man is deluded, but nonetheless dangerous, and these are troubled times."
Who's Ananias? Who is he?
Privately before Ananias. I don't know.
I don't recall him. I remember we had Herod and the other, Pontius Pilate.
Yeah, well, these are the priests. These are the actual priests. These are before Rome, and so this is the priest, right? And this is, I think, Ananias. I think they talk about Ananias. We've talked about Ananias, haven't we?
I think so.
I mean, that's the one that I believed prophesied that one person would have to die for the sake of the whole country. I think is that who it is. Okay, 2. When Yahushua was taken away, Shimon Kepha followed at a distance. And after Yahushua was brought from the residence of Ananias, he followed and came to the forefront of the temple, but could not go beyond because of the disturbance. Servants lit a brazier of charcoal and stood warming themselves, for the night was cold, and Kepha stood with them. While he stood there, a relative of the high priest named Yosef, but called Yochanan, a follower of Yahushua in secret, came and spoke to the woman at the door and went into the chamber hall. He also spoke to Kepha. Then a maidservant came and spoke with the woman at the door, who came over to Kepha and said, "You are one of the Galileans' followers." But Kepha said, "I am no friend of his. You must be mistaken."
So the two just came up to him. So that's how they probably figured it out, because he just started talking to the other guy.
Yeah, and so there's a lot to be said on this whole thing, because Kepha could not, because he was not a Pharisee or Sadducee or anything of the sort. He could not go into where they were going, and so somebody came and basically recognized him and then whispered to the girl, and then she came and are you the Galileans' followers? And there's his first, "I am no friend of his. You must be mistaken," and that's hardcore, right? Because only 5 hours earlier, or probably less than that, they were, he says he will die for him. He'll go to prison for him. He'll do all this. And Messiah knew this. And he knew that the testing of Kepha was going to fail. 5. However, the woman persisted, saying, "Your speech betrays you." Then she cried out to those with the brazier. I don't even know what that is. Brazier? I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
About the brazier. And that's the fire. Whatever that is the charcoal and the fire. "Beware, here is one of the Galilean sorcerer's followers." Then the men clustered about Kepha and said, "Certainly you are a Galilean." And some said, "We have seen him with this rebel." Then they said to Kepha, "Did you not cause trouble in the temple? We have seen you there." Okay, so a little bit more than we get from the Besorah, right? We get the account of this, but we only get this account that, they ask him this thing. But here it's clear they surround him, right? All of a sudden he becomes... not really in trouble, but there's a tremendous amount of peer pressure. And because of what's happening to Messiah, your first inclination is that they are going to do that to you as well. And so you're going to be in fear. 7. Then the men said, "The woman is right. You are a Galilean. Your speech witnesses against you." Others said, "He is just a Galilean," and laughed. Kepha then became angry and shouted, "Why do you pester me? I do not know the man. I have heard about him, but I have not seen him." Then the other disciple came out and told the men to leave Kepha alone. He took him by the arm and went out through the gateway. As they went, a cock crew, for the fowls were in the city, and Kepha wept bitterly, for he had failed the test. The other had compassion on Kepha because of the weakness of the flesh. And Kepha said, "I will make amends." Then the disciple took Kepha to a safe place nearby. So again, we get a lot more details out of this than we get with just the regular Besorah and the regular stories that we have. We did not know that there was another person, another disciple who,
Was there.
Yeah, was there. And we don't know who exactly this was, but I mean, there's a lot of people, anybody who's a follower of Messiah is a disciple. And so, there you have Kepha, showing, human problems, human fears, and, failing the test ultimately. 10. The Supreme Council had assembled that night in the chamber of hewn stone within the great temple. Though the Roman law did not permit men to sit in judgment during the night hours, the Supreme Council was afraid because of the mood of the people. When Yahushua stood before the council, he was asked, "Are you the Mashiach, Elohim's anointed, who will deliver us?" Yahushua replied, "I could deliver the people if you would let me do so." The high priest, son-in-law of Ananias, sat with the council, and he said to Yahushua, "Are you Galilean?" When Yahushua replied that he was, the high priest said, "Surely you, being a learned man, know that no prophet will come from that place." Yahushua made no reply. Then a man named Nicodemus said to Yahushua, "The Torah does not condemn any man without trying to understand his motives. Tell us why you do these things."
Now, is that a thing, like, try to understand their motives?
Hey.
It's never like understand their reasoning. It's always like stop them from sinning. I guess.
That could be part of the Talmud, right? Because with the Talmud, and for those who do not know what the Talmud is a set of books. Essentially, it's Jewish mysticism that came out of Babylon, and it's their so-called oral Torah that has been passed down from generation to generation, and it finally got recorded. The problem with their so-called oral Torah, besides it being absolutely corrupt, and when I say it's absolutely corrupt, when you read like things like the Sanhedrin, I think it was like Sanhedrin 25b, there are things about you being able to literally molest children, molest little children, and get away with it, and it's just also how they allow you to treat what they call the goyim. Is that it is, it's one of those things that you are, if they classify you as a goyim, you are lesser than a person. And we don't have any of that in Torah. We don't have anything of like that people are not able to be brought into the fold. If you want to be a child of the Most High, it says in Scriptures that you need to follow the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator, and definitely have the faith of Messiah Yahushua. But no, I don't think we have anything to answer Jade's question. I don't think the Torah says anything about trying to understand his motives, because it's the Torah is black and white, right? If you are caught in adultery, you don't just persecute one of them; you kill them both. And if you don't bring witnesses with just one person, you bring them both, and it's a set of rules and regulations. But the motives, regardless of the motives, I don't know so much as we could make a judgment based upon motives. So I think that is, you're right, Jade. I don't think that is in Torah that we condemn them without understanding their motives. And I mean, but at that same time, there would be righteous judgment for that, because there would be circumstances, I would imagine, that would be outside of that. So
I mean, if you steal bread because you're hungry, that would be something.
Yeah, you steal bread. Yeah, right, absolutely. And that's the thing is your motives. Are you going to cut off the guy's hand because he stole the bread, or are you going to have compassion on him because he was hungry? And so those kind of things. So anyway, let's continue on. 16. Yahushua answered, "Is it not written that if people are to be saved, there must be a suffering deliverer who will also be the anointed of Yahuwah?" Nicodemus then said to the council, "If this man is what he claims, he is harmless, for he brings suffering to none except himself." Then another counselor said, "I myself have heard him say he comes not to suffer, but to bring a sword to free the people." Yahushua stood calm and serene. One of the elders said to him, "Is it true you were born of fornication, and when born, your father Joseph and Miriam, the woman who gave birth to you, had to flee from the anger of the people?" But 12 of those present witnessed for him that he was not the child of fornication, but of a rightly married mother. Though many of the elders tried to make out a case against Yahushua, they failed. For though there were witnesses who gave false evidence against him, others spoke in favor of Yahushua, which is something we never ever heard before, right?
Right, and they were talking about like him being born of fornication. Like, Even so, that's not something you condemn. It's just the child being born for that for. Like, there's nothing he can do. It wasn't his choice.
Yeah, no.
It's like they were trying to like find like everything like condemn for his parents' acts.
Absolutely anything, right? And so yeah, that's it. You know, a child born of fornication. I mean, that's not the child's fault. There's no fault of the child on any of that ever. Okay. It's interesting though that we've never heard that there were anybody else within this thing, right? We only
trying to stand up for him.
Yes, others trying to stand up for them, and that is good to know that Messiah wasn't completely alone during this time. That there were people that were on his side and had the strength to not be scared, because obviously Kepha was very scared at what was happening. Okay. Then a law scribe came forward and testified with the others. He had heard Yahushua declare that the temple was only a man-made structure, which he would destroy in 3 days. However, there was no agreement among the witnesses as to what had been said or what it meant. Some held Yahushua to be a sorcerer who spoke of magic, while others held him to be a madman whose talk was not rational. Many remained silent and thoughtful. One of the leading men among the elders stood up and said to Yahushua, "Can you not speak for yourself and answer the accusations?" Yahushua said, "Are the charges not being fully argued out?" So they didn't even know. These guys didn't even have the charge. They didn't
know too. Like Job, he would condemn himself here.
Yeah, and so they're like, talk to us. He's like,
and the thing that he said that the temple is a man-made thing. It's like, okay, like how was that a sin?
Yeah, and absolutely, it was made by the hands of man. Absolutely. 25. The high priest said, "I ask you, in the name of the Most High, Elohim, tell us, for we do not wish to make any mistake. Are you the Mashiach who will deliver us?" Yahushua said, "You ask this because others, witnessing what I say, what I do, say this is so. If I say I am the deliverer, I do not lie. I am the true son of Elohim, standing at his right hand, ready to obey his will, and I speak with divine authority. I am the one destined to bring down the whole structure, replacing it with a new rule."
We have a lot more in depth of how his little judgment went, their little thing they had, their conversations they had.
Yeah, absolutely. And this goes right along with scriptures, right? I mean, this is something that he would say. Now, this is a Trinity breaker, right? He says, "I am the son of Elohim." Now, if the Trinity was real, our Messiah is a filthy liar, right? And that's not him. Our Messiah is not a liar. He does not lie. Neither does Elohim. Lies cannot come forth from them. And so, these are and what Messiah said here. Them are fighting words, right? These Pharisees are like, "Oh, a new authority. Oh yeah, and you're standing at the right hand of Elohim." And so right there, we hear who stands at the right hand of Elohim, the Messiah. 27. Upon hearing this, the high priest said, "We need no more witnesses, for we have all heard him blasphemy. The evidence for treason has been given by his own mouth. He is convicted through words from his own lips. What more is required before your verdict?" But there was no little dispute among the elders, for some said, "It is no crime to say, 'I am the Mashiach who will deliver.' Others said, 'It is no crime for a man to be misguided and deluded. For will not the deliverer be disclosed by deeds which this man has not performed?' It was also said, 'Is he not fulfilling the prophecies? Therefore be wary in judgment.'"
Some of these guys are like, this doesn't go against Torah. It's like, if it's just not a sin to just like say I'm the Messiah.
Yeah, I mean, we have no Torah command. We have nothing. There's nothing in Torah.
Or if he's like mentally ill or crazy in the head, it's like it's not a sin on him if he's mentally ill.
Yeah, absolutely. Help the guy if he's mentally ill. But
they're only just trying to do everything to get him out of here.
Yep. One of the elders said, "Let us set the good this man does against the other. And is it not well known that he has a power of healing not in other men? What wrong has he done? He has not called men to arms against Caesar." The high priest then stood up and said, "If we allow this man to go free at this time, he will stir up trouble, the people being ripe for revolt. Then Caesar will send his legions against us, and the nation will be destroyed, for the hand of Caesar is heavy. We cannot set the life of one man against the lives of many. And those who would set him free are no friends of Rome. Neither can they be made friends of our people." Then some said, "His crime is against Rome and not against us." But others said, "What? Shall we deliver him into Roman cruelty?" So they already knew how cruel the Romans were, right? And the Romans have always been notorious for their tortures, for their ways. I mean, these people were advanced beyond their years as far as this goes. 32. The high priest said, "This can be no concern of ours. We are shepherds of the people. Let those who speak against Caesar stand before Caesar's judgment seat. Let our judgment be that we found him guilty against Caesar, and then leave him in Roman mercy. We have no power to condemn him." Okay, and this will be the last verse that we're going to do on this one. 33. Therefore, it being daylight, they bound Yahushua and delivered him to Pilate with the verdict: he is guilty against Rome. Okay, so there you see all of this, and you see exactly why they handed him over and how.
They couldn't find nothing. They couldn't do. There's nothing they had.
Yeah, and the only thing they had is what would be against Rome, right? And
he still had nothing. He never did anything against Rome. He always said pay Caesar. So.
Yep, pay to Caesar what is Caesar's.
I mean, even Pilate, when he got out there, he's like, I just fault in this guy. I wash my hands and leave this into your hands.
Yeah,
he pretty much gave him back to him.
And Messiah
left him into the Jewish cruelty.
Yeah, and then Messiah even paid his taxes, right? So he wouldn't have the RIRS after him or something, the Internal Roman Service after him, with all their spears and everything going in to extort cash from the Roman people. So that is it. And so we have stuff that we've never ever heard before. What do you guys make of this? I mean, other than you've never heard this, and that's the thing is, guys, when we read this, I've never read this book before. I read the section we read about 2 hours before we actually read it, just so I don't sound like a clown trying to read this. And the boys here have never heard this before because they haven't read this, so this is all new. So it's new for a lot of us. What do you guys make of this, gentlemen, as new hearers of this?
I think it's really good. It gives a lot of information that not all the Pharisees were bad. Not all of them were breaking Torah. There's only a few people in there that wanted to get rid of Yehoshua.
Yeah.
And not everyone condemned him. Some people actually cared for him. Like, hey, he had done nothing wrong. He might be mentally ill. You can't punish the mentally ill. They seem to hey, this guy is a good man. He heals people. Are these not the signs of a Messiah?
Kate, anything?
They couldn't find anything because there was nothing against the Torah he had done, right? Because he walked the perfect life he did. They were just pulling at straws that they couldn't even find. They were just trying to grab things out of thin air that they were trying to do, and the people that were actually somewhat righteous in that group actually were like, well, there's nothing that's not a sin. There's nothing he's doing here is a sin. Saying that he is the son of Elohim is not a sin. Saying he's the Messiah is not a sin. None of that is a sin.
Yeah. Eli, do you have anything from over there? No. All right. Thanks, Eli. I find this very, very fascinating. This is definitely, I am very, very grateful to the Parable of the Vineyard guys, the Adam and his wife, and for being able to put this out, and number one, for allowing us to have this for absolutely free. When I went to the Parable of the Vineyard and asked them, can I take this book? Can we include it in the scriptures we're going to be putting into it? And his word was anything for the kingdom. And so that is, the fruits of people who are seeking the kingdom, seeking the will of Yah, and, trying to get this out to everybody, because things like this we don't know. We've never heard of things of this nature. We never ever heard that things of anything like this. And so we've gained more understanding of our Messiah than we have ever gained. And I feel like we're blessed to be able to have this in these times that we are in, and for these works to be able to be cared for and brought forth to the people. And so everybody, this is the end. Thank you guys very, very much. We love you guys very, very much. We hope you guys have a wonderful day. Shalom to y'all, and see you later.
All right, shalom.